Welcome everyone to Serving the Tea with Dan Sky and Enos Williams,
a podcast dedicated to get to know players of the GLTA community.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you. Today, I have the pleasure and honor to interview Dan Sky, one of my closest GLTA friends and one of the best players within GLTA community. Hello, Dan. How are you doing today?
Hello, Enos. I'm very well. How are you? And thank you for having me.
I'm great. And let's take this opportunity to get to know Dan a little bit closer. In the next episode, I hope Dan will interview me and you will get to know the hosts of this podcast a little bit better. So that afterwards we can just dive into getting to know all the players of GLTA with all the dark secrets they have, share the gossip, share the truth and the insights of their lives and their GLTA careers.
Exactly. I can't wait. And I'm looking forward to share with you guys to make some good content and hopefully to get to know better our players.
Yes, let's get to it. Ready? Serve. So, Dan, I have been watching you for a few years on the GLTA tour, and I have noticed that you're playing either in skirts or in dresses, which is very interesting, which is not yet very popular, but we do see a few other people, including myself, um, playing in that sort of attire. So can you tell me, how did your adventure with female outfits start and where did the idea come from?
Yeah, I think it started when I played my first edition or my second edition in Barcelona. Um, if I recall correctly, the tournament had a theme, and I think it was the 70s or the 80s. And at that time, a friend that used to live in Barcelona also would be there and support me. So, he has this vibe, and he said, "Why don't we do something crazy? Let's get you a woman outfit." Adjusted, to the 70s for the final. And yeah, so the idea came from there. And then after that, I played our tournaments. I met David Chen, which, is famous for wearing a dress. And then he actually borrowed me one of his dress for the second time. But that was kind of the first time where I really was excited about that. I was like, oh, finally I can do it. And funny enough, it was a dress of my favorite player, Maria Sharapova. So yeah, ever since I've been playing the tournament, wearing whether a two-piece, a skirt, and the top or a dress.
That's fantastic. Thank you. So investigating your adventure with GLTA a little bit further and looking for the beginnings of it, how did you first find out about GLTA?
Well, I guess I have to share my first secrets now. Funny enough, I met Yanis. He used to be the director of a Barcelona Open tournament, and I met him on our probably most used or most known gay app Grinder. And don't get excited, nothing has happened. We just chatted. I used to have my tennis emoji in my profile, and he too. And then
Excuse me, let me interrupt you right there. You became a GLTA player, so I think history happened back then. So saying nothing happened is an understatement, but please continue.
well, if you look it from that side, absolutely. Yeah, history has happened, because otherwise I wouldn't be known, or I wouldn't be heard, about GLTA. So yeah, he kind of like shared with me some details that told me that there is this tournament happening, and if I would like, they also have their own group, Pantera Gruegas. He invited me there, and I played on a Sunday there, and I got to know a little bit of the community and the players, and yeah, eventually start playing my first GLTA back in 2018.
That's a fantastic story. Thank you for sharing. So, can we go all the way back to the beginning of your adventure with tennis. How did that start? What was the time you took the racket in your hands for the first time? Elaborate.
Yeah, I started at a very young age, thanks to my dad. And in general, I'm coming from a sporty family. My dad used to play volleyball and table tennis at a very high level. My brother also had this passion for football, playing and competing. And then my dad, I think he also wanted for his youngest son to practice sport, and he got me into tennis. Um, yeah, and I started, as I said, I was a kid, and probably I was good at it because in a couple of years, I remember by the age of 11, 12, I was already competing at international tournaments. And ever since, just been achieving great results, trophies, to an extent that I got to play some ITF levels tournament. And then just a couple of months before turning 18, I had an injury, which was the cause of what I stopped competing at that high level, at the professional level. But yeah, otherwise, I would have not been here and be part of GLTA.
Well, yeah, there's silver lining to everything, so we're happy to have you within our community, shining. Um, so another question I have is, we know how competitive and how devoted and dedicated you are on court. But who is Dan outside of court? Who is Dan in private life?
Well, thanks for the question. I think it's a question that I was expecting, and I wanted to be going into it because I heard and I probably own the fact that I can come across as an arrogant person, as a cocky personality based on my, let's say, behavior on the tennis court. But I just want to make it very clear because, I come from a professional background where you are not there to make friends. So it took me a couple of years to adjust and become more social. Yet I love to compete. I love to fight, and I'm glad that these qualities, these skills, I managed to bring them off court, and people who know me uh, close enough, they would reaffirm and they would know that I'm a very resilient person. I don't know how to give up on court and off court. But yeah, going into your question, off court, I would say that I'm not as confident as I look on court. I would actually describe myself as a shy person. I wouldn't be doing the first step. I would probably stay quiet and wait for the other person to say, hey, how are you doing? And slowly, once you created this safe environment and the conditions, then I would give more and more. I'm a very people's person. I love to stick to the same people, and I give a lot. Once I feel that there is chemistry, I completely throw myself in, and I care about my friends, and I hope people can say that the same way. So yeah.
Are you a people pleaser?
No, not at all. I'm very opinionated, and I am very I'm sticking by my point of view. But please don't misunderstand it. It's not that I will, stick to something that I believe it's wrong just to prove a point. No, I just have my opinions, and slowly you learn to agree to disagree.
Right. Okay, let's step back on the court, specifically GLTA courts. Tell me your favorite memory of GLTA tournaments.
I would say so far, I got some great memories. But if I have to recall just one, probably it would be the tournament in Madrid back in 2021, for certain reason. Um, Back in 2021, I wasn't known yet, or I was still feeling a bit as of an outsider, I would say. Madrid was one of the few tournaments that I played outside Barcelona, um, and the draw was super tough. If I can recall correctly, I would say Madrid 2021 was one of the toughest uh, that I played. And yeah, it just stuck in my mind because of the high level. I got to play very good opponents from the first round. I got to play Pedro Alonso, then I got to play Jochen Schmidt in the quarters. Already in the semis, I got to play Will Mack, and then in the finals to play against the best GLTA player at the time, Luciano Burgos. And just to overcome all these battles, most of my matches were 3 sets, and me also wanting to show people that I'm a good tennis player, and I belong to the community. So yeah, it was like a breaking barrier for me, and it meant very much the victory.
That's fantastic. That's a fantastic story. Thank you. Um, Sticking to this year's season that is more or less starting, what destination are you most excited about this year?
Um, Definitely this year, the tournament that I'm looking forward is in London. Um, Also, because it's going to be played on the courts of Wimbledon, and just the idea of thinking that, you're going to be part of the same environment just a couple of weeks after the Wimbledon happened itself, and being part of the village, stepping on the beautiful green grass. I just think the whole situation and all put together, it just a dream come true. And yeah, can't wait to play there, and hopefully I can make some great results.
Let's be honest, you can win. Let's hope.
I hope so. Thank you.
Yes. So speaking of GLTA tournaments, we all know that those tournaments are a bit expensive. We have to pay the entry fees, you have to travel, you have to book a hotel or another type of accommodation. Tell me, how do you juggle around those expenses? How do you find time? How do you manage your finances around GLTA tournaments?
That's a very good question. And I could just talk from my own experience.
Please do.
Yeah, playing and planning to be part of a GLTA tournament, it takes a lot, not just financially speaking. It's also a matter of planning, having days off from the job, making it work, with the flights, trying to find an affordable accommodation, because altogether, just playing the tournament itself, it can cost you easily over 1,000 euros. And there are less fortunate people and more fortunate people that can afford that, but some are just trying to save money, and GLTA becomes also their only vacation throughout the year, or their only escape. Yeah, so I think that players, us in general, should get much more credit in general, because you never know what's happening behind each of us. You never know what are the sacrifices, or what's going, in your own life, while you still have to show up yourself there, try to win, and put a smile, because eventually, once the match is finished, it's a social event, and you want to be at your best, you want to interact, you want to talk to people. um, so yeah, I think it's a very complex and complete uh, situation, and everybody who is trying to be part more often of GLTA tournaments, it's great, and I hope we can grow the community and we can grow within the community.
Absolutely. So you have recently moved from Barcelona, where I currently am, to Zurich. Can you shed some light on how that process went and what are the main differences from your perspective?
Right. I mean, I think Barcelona, it's a great city, but it's also, you have to be in the right time, in the right place, I would say, right? I think Barcelona helped me and gave me the wings to embrace myself, to discover my own, persona, my personality, and I'm forever grateful for that. I just felt that after 7.5 years of living there, it was just time for me to move on. I wasn't happy. I feel that Barcelona is also such a crowded city, and people are coming and going, and it's tough to make meaningful connection, meaningful relationships, or even friendship. That doesn't mean you can't. Yes, you do, but probably takes much more effort and time. And if you don't have the time, it's difficult to bond. I'm lucky enough to build certain friendships thanks to GLTA. And one of us, is like, you are one of my closest friends, not just in GLTA, in general at this time. So we bonded through GLTA. Then, we've been having a relationship as a coach student and now friends. So yeah, I would say Barcelona, as I mentioned, is great, but you need to have the mentality for it. You need to be up for what's going there. And I'm more of an old soul. I really appreciate the intimacy, the dinners with friends in a more quiet place. Like meeting for drinks at someone's, flat or house. And moving to Zurich, it's exactly what I wanted. Here, everything feels a bit more private, a bit more of like a family environment, and that's what I was missing in Barcelona. And so far, things are going great. Definitely going at a different pace than I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I would be able to settle down a bit quicker, but yeah, just trying to embrace the process, accept the rhythm, and building on friendships.
Fantastic. I wish you all the success in your new home.
Thank
Um,
you.
and since you're building yourself up from like in a new environment, maybe some of the people from Zurich would like to know what makes Dan Sky happy, how to make you happy, what brings you joy.
Well, it's connected question to the previous one, as I would say, right? Simple things in life, I learned to enjoy it. I understand now more and more what is the meaning and the importance of a true friendship is. Um, what makes me happy, I would say, it's spending time with friends. The simplest thing of going out for lunch, sharing, like memories, create new memories, sharing thoughts on a subject, or just being present or in each other's life. Yeah, those kind of things makes me happy, just planning a trip together, playing tennis. Definitely tennis, it's been and it's such a big part of my life, and probably it's going to be a big part of my life until the day I'll not be anymore on this planet. But yeah, so as a short answer, I would just say simple things makes Dan Sky happy.
Fantastic. You mentioned friends that make you happy. Who are the closest friends within the GLTA family to you, if you want to share that with us?
Definitely. And again, I have to say thanks to the community, because only through the community I got so many great friends and so many great acquaintances. And thanks to them, today I could move to Switzerland. Currently, my closest friends from GLTA are Giulio Ferreira, Igor Dimnik, our host, Enos Williams.
Oh, stop.
I have some great and close friends from Canada, Amin and Pierre. And recently I got close with Gennaro and Shannon based in London. So yeah, just a few to recall, I would say. Also Ashley and Bradley in Switzerland. So yeah, I'm
I'm sure there's
pretty.
a lot more, but it's like winning an Oscar. You forget to mention all the people that you keep close to your heart.
Well, sometimes, not everybody likes to be exposed. So I guess we gotta respect privacy and yeah, just keep it among ourselves.
Very good point. Okay, before we finish, I would like to give you a little bit of a pop quiz, ask you some quick questions, and if you could answer as quick as possible, that will be the point of it. Ready?
Yes.
Let's go. What's your favorite app on your phone?
My favorite, Instagram, and it's also the most used app.
What's your favorite current song?
Water by Tyla.
Okay. Most interesting movie that you have seen recently, or a show?
Uh, I would say series House of Dragon, and there's a movie Dune.
Okay. Favorite GLTA destination?
So far, I loved Rome and Zurich.
Thank you. Favorite shot?
Dry Valley for Henry Beckett.
Okay. Least favorite shot?
Slice.
Okay. Are you a top or bottom or verse or a side?
Bottom.
Oh, thank you for sharing. What's your favorite surface? And that's totally unrelated with the previous question.
I would say I love playing on fast surfaces, but my best results came on clay.
Okay. And are you rooting for Eurovision this year? It's a little political.
No, I know people would say like what kind of gay I am, but I'm actually not much into Eurovision. Um, yeah, probably I will just watch the final because it's fun to get all together with friends. So
Right. Okay. And what do you say or scream after you successfully won a point?
da.
That's exactly how I remember it. Thank you very much, Dan, for your time and for sharing your secrets with us. I do have one more favor to you. If you have a question that you would like to ask anyone within the GLTA, it will give us an idea of who we want to interview next. And your question will definitely be incorporated into that interview. So please share it after this recording, and we will make sure to invite that person and ask them your uncomfortable question.
Sure, I have many questions for many of our GLT players, and I can't wait to share with you and ask themselves.
Perfect. Once again, thank you, Dan. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you like the podcast, hit the follow, subscribe, support us on Patreon if we ever get there, and stick for another episode potentially next week.
Thank you. I would also love to invite everyone to subscribe, to like, to give us some feedback, and also just stay tuned because we can't wait to share with you our newest content.
And that's a match.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.